Today is all about travel insurance. I know it's not the most thrilling subject, but it is very important. So I am going to talk about what it is, when to get it, and how to get it. Let's go. Hey y'all, it's Christy the Gen X Gypsy, and welcome. As I said before, today we are talking about travel insurance. Travel insurance is what you get in order to cover yourself from all of the bad stuff that can happen when you are traveling, from losing your luggage to, well, losing your life. Insurance is one of those things that we all hate to buy, but when you need it, you need it. Now, first, some disclaimers. I am not a licensed insurance agent, and I have never been in the insurance profession. And number two, this video is not sponsored by any insurance company. All of this information is just from my research and is purely for educational and entertainment purposes. Let's start with what travel insurance covers. The basic categories are medical insurance, emergency evacuation, accidental death and dismemberment, travel protection, and baggage protection. Most travel insurance policies are comprehensive plans that bundle most of these protections together, but it's important to know what you do and do not need when looking at travel insurance. Medical insurance, as it implies, will cover your medical bills like visiting a hospital while you are traveling abroad. And depending on where you are going, if you're going to a socialized country like England or Canada, most of those bills will be covered and you won't need to have insurance in order to pay for them. Remember, this is a medical insurance that does not replace your health insurance that you have at home. And in fact, it's probably worth looking at your health insurance plan that you have at home to see if you might be covered overseas by your current health insurance. Some of them do have programs and policies that will cover you when you are traveling. However, you are probably going to have to pay a significant out-of-pocket copay, let's say, if you are traveling somewhere. So you want to do your research to see what your cost might be. In that case, it may be less expensive to go ahead and buy a travel medical insurance policy just to have in place, because your health insurance won't cover you for those costs. Next up, we're talking about the emergency evacuation and the accidental death or dismemberment policies. Yikes, I know, I just went a little dark there, and that we don't really like to think about dying when we're traveling, or really ever. But when things go really bad, that's when you really need insurance. And if you are going on a trip where you're going to be doing some things that are maybe not so mundane and there is more potential risk, then it's probably a good idea to look at some policies that would cover those risks. Emergency evacuation will fly you to the nearest hospital or possibly even fly you home for health care if something happens to you while you are traveling. It depends on the country that you're in and the nearest hospital that is a suitable hospital for taking care of your injuries. Think about it if you're hiking in a remote area of Alaska and you fall down a ravine and you break your leg and a helicopter has to come and fly you off of the side of the mountain and take you to a hospital. They're probably just going to take you to a hospital in Alaska like Anchorage or somewhere where they do have really good medical care, but this insurance would pay for that very expensive helicopter flight off of the mountain to the hospital. If you're in a third world country, say Nicaragua or Costa Rica, and something happens to you and maybe the medical care isn't so fantastic there, then that insurance might pay to fly you back to the United States in order to have the care that you need to have to take care of your injuries. But it's going to depend on where you're at and what type of medical care is available in the country that you are traveling in, and that's up to the insurance company to decide what they are going to pay for. Another important reason why you need to read those policies very, very closely when you are purchasing them. These situations can get very expensive very, very fast, and they can potentially bankrupt you or bankrupt your family just trying to pay for those medical expenses to extract you or get you to where you need to be. Keep that in mind when you are choosing your travel insurance and when you're thinking about the cost risk analysis. Moving on to a more upbeat subject, although anything that insurance covers is probably not going to be all that upbeat because it's all the worst case scenario subjects, right? But this one at least is a little more uplifting than talking about falling off of the side of a mountain. Now we are talking about if you need to cancel your trip and getting your money reimbursed for tickets that you've already paid for. Travel protection, also known as trip cancellation insurance, will reimburse you for the cost of any tickets or tours or whatever you may have paid for up front before you go on your trip if you have to cancel at the last minute. Now there are limitations to what you can cancel your trip for, and if you want to get a policy where you can cancel for any reason, they do have those available, and they are literally called cancel for any reason policies. I know, you'd have thought they'd come up with a more creative name, but I guess they haven't. If you don't get a cancel for any reason policy, the normal stuff that you can cancel for on a trip protection or trip cancellation policy is emergency medical situations for you or who you may be traveling with, weather events such as hurricanes or earthquakes. I believe even like in Hawaii when the volcanoes started exploding, I believe people were able to use their cancellation insurance for that. If you lose your job, if there's some political situations that happen as well, you know, kind of the common sense things that you can cancel for. With the current situation, many of the COVID-19 reasons are excluded from these travel protection and trip cancellation policies. So you cannot cancel because the place you're going to has been put in a stay-at-home order. You cannot cancel because the place you're going has had an uptick in cases that are there. You cannot cancel because you're just fearful of getting COVID yourself if you travel. None of those reasons will allow you to cancel and get your money back. You probably will be able to get credits with the place that you booked through originally, but they're not going to give you your money back. You're just going to have to use it at a future time. If you want to guarantee that you will be able to get your money back, you will need to get one of the cancel for any reason policies, which you will have to pay extra for. But if that's the peace of mind that you're looking for, then that's the direction that you need to go. Also, check with your credit card to see if your credit card offers travel insurance that will protect you, especially with the tickets or tours that you purchase with that particular credit card. Most likely, they're not going to cover the things that you paid for with something else or somebody else's credit card. But if it's something that you purchased with that particular credit card, a lot of times they do offer some travel insurance that will help you get those funds back. So check with your credit card to make sure that you're not missing out on one of the benefits that they offer to you. And while you're there checking your credit card for that travel protection insurance, check and see if they have additional travel baggage insurance as well. All the airlines are liable up to a certain amount for lost or stolen luggage when you are flying. However, that can be really limiting. And if you're traveling with a lot of expensive electronics, say like a laptop and cameras, a Kindle or two, those values start to stack up. And if you're only allowed up to $1,000 back for lost luggage and you had $2,000 worth of electronics in your bag, well, that kind of sucks and you're not going to be able to recover that difference. So looking to see if your credit card has extra baggage protection would be helpful. The other thing you can do is check out your homeowner's insurance or your renter's insurance policies to see if it covers your electronics being stolen when you are traveling. And if not, you might consider getting a rider on your homeowner's or renter's insurance that would cover you while you're traveling. And I would look into getting a lower deductible. A lot of homeowners policies are around $1,000 deductible. So if you're out $1,000, that's a pretty decent laptop for $1,000 or a really, really nice camera. It doesn't take a whole lot to get to $1,000 these days. So you would want to explore options for getting that lowered so that you're not out $1,000 off the top if stuff is stolen or lost or damaged. Now, how to choose the best travel insurance plan for you. First, you want to make sure that the company that you choose covers the country you're going to. I know, that sounds really simple, but it is crucial. So make sure you're covered where you're going. Number 2, make sure you have enough coverage to cover the valuables that you're taking with you, like we just spoke about. Third, you want to make sure that you have medical coverage that will cover you in case you get injured or you get sick while you are traveling. You definitely want a company that provides 24-hour customer assistance. Lastly, you want to make sure that you have protection from natural disasters, civil unrest, strikes, political uprisings, war, or anything else that could ruin your insurance. Be aware that most travel insurance companies do not cover extreme sports like bungee jumping, scuba diving, heli skiing, any of those that they deem as adventure sports. Some of the travel insurance companies even consider snorkeling an adventure sport. So you want to make sure that you, again, check that policy to see that it is covered or if it's excluded. I did have to get a rider that covered me for adventure sports when we went to Nicaragua to do the surf camp. So even surfing in some instances is considered an extreme sport. Just do your research if that's something that you are planning on doing when you go on your trip. Also, any incidents that happen while you are drunk or high will not be covered. Basically, if you're being reckless, your insurance company is probably not going to cover you. So make smart choices while you're out there. If the unfortunate happens while you're out there traveling, just remember that the insurance companies absolutely hate to have to pay out on a claim. So you need to do everything you can do in order to not give them an opportunity to turn you down. So that means keeping all of your receipts or paperwork that's associated with any medical expense that you might incur. Also, if you do happen to get something stolen, make sure you get a police report. No matter where you are, get that police report because they are going to ask for it. Something else you can do to be prepared before you go on the trip is to take pictures of all of your valuable items that you are going to take with you. So your cameras, your microphones, your laptops, your iPads, whatever they are, take pictures, write down their makes and models and their serial numbers, and write them down. Type them up and put them in the cloud somewhere so that you can easily access them. Like if your computer's stolen and your phone's stolen and you can't look up those pictures and such, you can go to another computer and look at your iCloud account. So you have that information so you can easily give that to your insurance company. You just want to make sure that you're crossing all your T's and dotting all your I's before you send that claim in so that you don't give them any reason to reject your paperwork and you have to start all over again. There are so many companies out there offering travel insurance these days that it is well worth doing some comparison shopping. I've used World Nomads for most of my overseas travel and I've been very happy with them, but I will admit I've never had to file a claim with them because I've been lucky enough not to have anything happen to need to file a claim. There's also a website called insuremytrip.com that you can do comparisons right there on various different travel insurance. I do believe they sell travel insurance as well, so it's not like a third-party comparison, but it does give you an idea of what different travel insurances are offering and what their costs are. I will link both of those below in the description if you want to check them out. Let me know in the comments below if you have ever had to file a claim with your travel insurance and how that process went. Maybe you've got some helpful advice for me in the community here. I hope I have been able to answer some of your questions about travel insurance. And if you have some ideas on topics that you would like me to research and cover about travel, let me know in the comments below. Thank you so much for joining me today and for staying to the end of a not so thrilling subject video. As always, I really appreciate you choosing to spend your time with me. Have a great day, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.
Hiding in the shadows, wait.
Accidental death and dismemberment. Dismemberment. Ooh, that's a tough word to